Phillip Ojomo, also known as the Wraith. Phillip grew up in a village that was being invaded by warlords who destroyed neighboring villages and burnt them to the ground. People all over the country Phillip was in were getting killed by these monsters that hunt survivors for profit. One day, Phillip was hiding in a bunker with his grandmother, who keeps him distracted by challenging him in a math quiz, until she hears a toddler crying above and goes to rescue it. However, she never returned, most likely meeting the same fate as Phillip's parents, being spotted by the hunters and killed. After some time passes, he ascends up the ladder to find anyone in the village still alive, whether it be his parents, grandmother, or someone else that he knew. All he sees are villages destroyed with bodies and cars burning, covering the whole area with smoke. Years pass by, and Phillip ends up in America and hopes to have a new beginning. He was offered a job at Auto Haven Wreckers, a small scrapyard that secretly was also a shady business. At first he didn't care about the shady business his boss named Azeroth does, and his only job was to fix cars and handle the crusher, until one day he saw blood coming from one of the vehicles. It was a young man, gagged and tied up. When Phillip freed the man, Azeroth stopped the young man and killed him. As Phillip demanded answers, Azeroth told him that Phillip secretly became an executioner. Every car he crushed had someone tied up and gagged. In his own words, this is the service the scrapyard provides to our certain clients. This was when Phillip snapped as he threw Azeroth in the crusher and slowly watched the machine compress him. He went from surviving from the killers in his homeworld to now becoming a new one. I know, quite a backstory, but let's see what the entity powered him up with. Phillip comes in with a machete that's decorated in Azeroth's skull and spine and a bell called the Wailing Bell, the same one his father gave him before he went out of the village. Phillip uses the bell to go invisible and become undetected, which hides the red hue and terror radius from survivors. This helps Phillip sneak up close to survivors, and thanks to his speed increasing when he cloaks, even flank them while chasing them. However, he can't hit survivors until he uncloaks, which slows his movement down. Still, he becomes a nuisance when it comes to fixing generators, healing your teammates, even trying to exit through the gates. You can tell when Phillip goes invisible by hearing him ring his bell. When that happens, it's best to keep an eye out for movements nearby. Using Wraith's perks allows you to see pools of blood a bright red that can be tracked from 2 to 4 seconds longer than normal, see survivor's aura for 4 seconds after a chase begins, and grant 6 to 10% haste for 10 seconds after being blinded. Overall, I'd give the Wraith an A tier. Once you get familiar with the Wraith, you'll have multiple opportunities to sneak up on unsuspecting survivors. However, they will keep an eye on any slight movements they'll be able to see. But whether you get blinded or stunned, you'll still be guaranteed to catch up to them and go in for the kill. This will definitely be the preferred choice over Trapper.